Okay, let's look at a couple more examples here. Now we're going to be factoring when our b value is positive and our c value is negative. Okay, so obviously I'm starting all these videos in the same way. You can probably see at this point that it's important to remember that standard form of a quadratic expression is ax squared plus bx plus c, right? And we want to now identify our a, b, and c terms of our trinomial. Right, so our a term today is always 1, okay? Our b term here is positive 7, and our c term here is negative 18, okay? And at this point, remember we want to find numbers that multiply to a times c, but add to b, right? And so these numbers, a times c, is going to be negative 18, and our b term is 7. Right? So we want to now find all the numbers that we can multiply together to get negative 18. Right? I know I can do, 1 and maybe 1 and negative 18, or negative 1 and positive 18. Okay? I could also do maybe 2 and negative 9, right? Or negative 2 and positive 9, right? Or I could even do, let's see, maybe 3 and 6, or 3 and negative 6, or negative 6, sorry, I'm just going to try to keep the order a little better there, or maybe negative 3 and positive 6, right? So all of these products will give us negative 18, right? But we're looking for which sum will also give us 7, right? So if we add these two up here, sorry, my pen's acting kind of funny. I'll end up with negative 17 here. Okay, if I add up these two, I'll get positive 17. If I add up 2 and negative 9, I'll get negative 7. Okay, if I add negative 2 and positive 9, I will get positive 7. So that looks like that's going to be our winner here. Okay, so negative 2 and positive 9, right, are the two numbers that will multiply to negative 18 and add to positive 7. Right, so I'm going to write my factors here. Okay, I know that first times first is going to be x squared, and then I can write those numbers that I came up with, right? So x minus 2 and x plus 9. Remember, I'm just writing these binomial factors. They're just these binomials being multiplied by each other that are both linear expressions. Okay, and now at this point, I'm just going to circle my answer, and I'll go ahead and check with FOIL here. Okay, so I'm going to check and make sure I got the right answer. So I'll do first times first will give me x squared. I'll do the outside numbers here will give me a positive 9x. My inside numbers here will give me a negative 2x. And then last times last will give me a negative 18. And when I add these up, here's what I get. Okay. So I know that I got the correct answer because I checked it, right? So let's look at one more example here. I know this might be getting a little bit repetitive, but I can assure you that factoring is going to be really important. Okay, so let's look at our next example here. We have x squared plus 3x minus 18. Okay, and again, we're expected to factor this. All right, so we'll always start the same way, right? So ax squared plus bx plus c, that's our standard form. Let's go ahead and identify a, b, and c. We have 1 is a, 3 is b, and c is negative 18. Right, so we really already did all these numbers for negative 18. Okay, but let's just go ahead and remember that in this top part of our x chart, we want two numbers that multiply to a times c, but add to b. Right, so a times c in this case is negative 18, and b in this case is 3. Okay, since I ran out of room last time, maybe I'll write these numbers again. So the numbers that can multiply together to get negative 18. 1, negative 18. Negative 1, positive 18. 2, negative 9. Negative 2, positive 9. 3, negative 6. And then I could also do negative 3 and positive 6. Okay, I think that's it. So maybe I'll go ahead and add these up. Again, after a while, you kind of start saying, well, I know that's not going to work, that's not going to work, that's not going to work, that's not going to work. So it's got to be one of these two, right? So which one of these sums is actually going to give me a positive 3? Okay, well, negative 3 and positive 6 looks like that's going to be the one, right? So I can go over to write my factors here, right? So I can write x, or maybe I should write these in my chart too, -3 and +6, okay? And I'll go over to my factors here and write x minus 3 and x plus 6, okay? And here's my answer, right? Those are my factors. And now I'll check my work by using FOIL. Okay, so first times first will give me x squared. The outside numbers will give me a +6x. The inside numbers will give me a -3x. And last times last will give me a -18. And I'll just combine those like terms in the middle there. Okay? And I can see that I was actually correct.